I have 9 Morgan dollars here, but some of them are counterfeit. Can you tell which ones? Hey collectors, thanks for watching. I'm the collector of coins, and that's right, as I said in the introduction, we have 9 Morgan dollars here. Really, some of these are real Morgan dollars and some are counterfeit. So we're going to try to assess which ones are counterfeit and which ones are real, and I'm going to talk about how to do that, and I will show you which ones are actually legitimate. So if you're not yet a subscriber, please consider subscribing to my channel. Remember to turn on posting notifications, and with that, let's get started. I've started with the reverse side of these Morgan dollars because I thought it would be fun to examine which ones we can detect are counterfeits or copies and which ones are genuine. You should be able to spot one of the counterfeits right away. If you've picked number 4, you're correct. All right, let's take a look at this one here. Did you spot the word copy under In God We Trust? That's right. This one is a copy or a counterfeit coin, and this replica is properly listed as such. This can be resold because it indicates a copy. I have seen a lot of examples where this is usually online, where people will post a picture of the front and the back of a coin asking if it's real, overlooking that there is copy or replica stamped on it. So you want to look out for that. And this is legal to sell. That one was easy. We still have 8 more to look at. And 3 of these 8 are real. Can you tell which ones? The easiest way to test for a counterfeit is to see if the coin is made out of a magnetic material using a magnet. This is a pretty strong magnet. Now, I know some of these are in plastic. However, magnets should be able to go through plastic. And what we're looking to see is if the coin can lift up a little bit or if I feel any sort of tug back. Feeling a little bit of tug back on that one. Feeling a little bit of magnetic tug back on some of these. All right, well, this magnet test is a very strong, simple test if you have a magnet, but it's not always foolproof. So while a few of these I feel a slight magnetic tug, this one specifically, let's test these again. No, no, no. Yes, this one is magnetic. I can feel it. And look at the design here. This is a counterfeit. It does not pass the magnetic test. Or 90% silver coins, like dollars, silver dollars like these, should not be magnetic. This one is also a fake. All right, so after the magnet test, we could also do a simple test with a scale. We can weigh these. And in order to weigh them, I had to remove these 2 from their plastic holders. All right. So a Morgan dollar should weigh 26.73 grams. Let's weigh them. I have this little scale right here.
Correct. A Morgan dollar should weigh 26.73 grams.
Okay, there you go. You heard her. Let's start with the first one. It's underweight, 25.49. So this might be fake. Let's take a look at this one. 25.4. Let's look at the next one. Much lower weight, 24.85. So why would they weigh less than what they should? Well, wear and tear effectively. Plus, this scale may not be the best. It may not be the most accurate. but these are significantly underweight. The first two weren't. All right, well, you know what? This weighing test is proving to be tougher than I thought. Maybe it's the scale that I have. That being said, these are all fairly close in weight, with some being 24, just slightly over 24 grams, some being slightly over 25 grams. I would say the weight test wasn't very successful, so we weren't able to eliminate any. We still have a total of 7 Morgan dollars, with 3 being legitimate and 4 being fake. All right, let's move on to the next test. So I have these calipers. I haven't used these in a while. This can help us measure the diameter of the coin. All right, well, I have the calipers on. Alexa, what is the diameter of a Morgan dollar?
A Morgan dollar has a diameter of 1.5 inches, which is equivalent to 38.1 millimeters.
38.1. All right, let's take a look. All right, well, that is 38.1 inches. I don't think I have the best calipers in the world, so don't use it all that often. It is also 38.1. I'm going to measure the rest off camera, and I'll tell you if any of these fail the caliper test. All right, well, they're all 38.1 inches. They're all the same size, so that did not help any. Let's move on to the next test. One of the best tests is to actually examine the coin to see if it looks like a legitimate Morgan dollar. So I turned these to look at the reverse side first, mainly because one of the coins had copy on it. But let's turn these over so we can look at the obverse so that we can study them. Now, we have them in different conditions. I wish I had coins all in the same condition. That might be a little harder to discern real from fake. But let's zoom in and take a look at the characteristics. And what I want you to pay attention to are things like, what did the fonts look like? Used on E Pluribus Unum and on the date and on Liberty. Count the number of stars that are on the obverse. Look at the details around the shape of the nose, the shape of the mouth, the placement of the leaves and flowers. And yes, we have some really high quality ones and some circulated ones, but right away, a few kind of pop out that look very suspicious. These two in particular have just a funny look to them. Let's look at this one up close. If you're not someone who studies Morgan dollars, you might miss this. But as you look at this, I'm just looking at the shape of the mouth around the eye. It just looks off to me. I believe this is a counterfeit. So what we can do is something called a ping test. So I picked up this little pocket pinger. I think I either got it on eBay or on Amazon. I can't remember which. Actually, as you look at the rim, you can see that the rim is lacking a lot of details in it. But we can do a ping test to see if this has got a good silver sound. Silver has a very high ping sound to it. All right, it's got a decent sound. But I do know one of these, this one, is genuine. So we can compare this one with this suspected counterfeit. Do you hear that sound? That's a pretty sound. Sounds very different. And rather than putting all these through the ping test, which I could do, and I would recommend guys getting something like that. And this is not a sponsored video. I also have a metal tester, which we will use on these. And that way we can rest assuredly figure out which ones are genuine and fake. Now, for those that do not or cannot afford the metal tester I'm about to bring out, I do recommend the test that I did show. The magnet test, weighing it, calipers, examining it to see if it looks genuine. And I'm going to let you in on a bit of a secret. Well, it's not going to be a secret. This is fake, this is fake, this is genuine. This is fake. This one I don't remember. I'm going to have to double test. This is genuine, this is genuine. But we will use the metal tester to make sure. All right, so we eliminated these two as counterfeits. And I have a Sigma Metalytics metal tester. It's a pocket mini one. Let's take it out and we'll test each of these coins to verify. So as a coin dealer, I buy and sell a lot of coins, and I test everything to make sure I am buying legitimate coins and selling legitimate coins. We do know this one is genuine, so we're going to use the pocket tester to verify. What this device does is it tests the electroresistance, and silver as well as gold have very specific electric resistance, and I'm just looking for, is it in that range? All right, that one, as you can see, tested good. Let's move on to these two, which are clearly counterfeit based on the visual inspection. This is the one that does not say copy, and here's the one that says copy. Now, the good news is, sorry for the cable in the way. The good news is this is labeled copy. We know it's not genuine. You can kind of see how it tests using the signal. Okay, well, we know these two are fake. We know this one is real. Let's test number 3. But I know this is genuine. It's an exceptional quality. But let's move on to these remaining items. We already know number 4 was counterfeit. Let's test number 5, which based on visual inspection was a little difficult to determine. I think this is counterfeit. It doesn't quite look right. There's a lot of things that do look right about it, but just the general color and, lack of crispness leads me to believe that this is counterfeit. Based on appearance, this one, and this one are very easy to tell. All right, let's test these one at a time. That is no good. Confirmed to be a counterfeit. 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 And that is a genuine Morgan dollar. So I know that this device is expensive. However, the pink test is affordable, as is a magnet and some of the other things that we've used. All right, so we have the genuine Morgan dollar separated in flips. I think I'll send these out to get graded. I'm torn about this one. Very certain about the proof like one. We'll see if that gets a proof like designation. And in the meantime, we have these counterfeits. So here's the irony. Let's pull out the copy. These I purchased to get out of the collector community. And interestingly enough, one of the reasons why I do this, we have a duplicate even, 2 1883 O's, is because I've been collecting counterfeit Morgan dollars, and I am working on hopefully what will become a complete set. These I have gotten out of the collector community, and we're going to see how many spaces, as ironic as that sounds, we can fill in this album. And in fact, we have 2 Dansko albums, and I probably spent more money on the albums than I did on the actual counterfeit coins themselves. Pretty crazy. All right, so this album goes from 1878 to 1891. Each of these would hopefully fill a space in this album. So let's take a look. Let's start with the earliest one, which is 1883. Let's kind of go through here. I believe it's an 1883 O. All right, and we're going to pop that in. It's bizarre. And there we go. Then we have 1844 as a slot. We have another O, which I believe is... It's on this page. Let me go pick up that counterfeit Morgan. And another counterfeit filled. Where else? 1889. Let's see what this one is supposed to be. San Francisco. All right, let's see where the 1889 would go. I have the Carson City counterfeit. Look at that. I needed the San Francisco counterfeit. And then we also have this 1891. Let's get that into focus. That's an 1891 Carson City. We need that counterfeit as well. Let's get these in the album. And there we go. They're a little bit bigger than these spaces, so they're hard to get in. So I know it's ironic trying to complete a collection of counterfeit Morgans, but I have completed a collection of counterfeit Walking Liberty half dollars, and I am now beginning to pick up counterfeits, not that I'm looking for them, of peace dollars. There's the 21 counterfeit, there's a 22 counterfeit, there's a 24 counterfeit. And these have all been tested as well. So collectors, my goal with this counterfeit collection is to educate other collectors and then ultimately donate this to the American Numismatic Association. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned how to detect counterfeits. I hope you're on the lookout for coins that are marked copy. Study what you buy carefully. Buy them from trusted sources. And this is why you should go to coin shows. Pretty much every dealer I know has Sigma devices to test for counterfeits. Well, collectors, thanks for watching. I hope you avoid counterfeits based on this information. And with that, happy collecting. I'll see you at the next coin show.
If you want one of my coin mats, there's a link down below in the description where you can get one.